Okay, in our final school of the afternoon from Utah State, we have head coach Gary Andersen and players Bojay, Filimoeatu, and Matt Austin.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
So, Coach, if we can just get some opening comments from you, and then we'll open it up for some Q&A.
Okay. First of all, it's great to be here. Appreciate you all being here. Exciting time for these kids. Exciting time for all of us to get things started off with the media day. Moving on to 2 days. We start camp a week from today, I guess. And it's been a good summer, good spring. I guess everybody has a good summer and a good spring because there's no wins and losses. But our kids are excited about the season. It's a very challenging schedule. You know, we get to play on national television 4 or 5 times as we go through the year, and hopefully a couple more times on regional television. So it's a challenging schedule. Wisconsin is, kind of highlighted as the non-conference game, as our, I guess you say, big game of the year. We go down there and play. A great opportunity for us to be on that stage, and our kids are excited about it. Overall, this team is prepared well. I'll say this about the conference and the WAC conference this year, and I think it is very evenly matched. There's teams that are number one, and there's teams that are wherever they fall in the preseason polls, but I think every game will be highly contested. I don't see anybody walking through this league cleanly, in my opinion, and I think it's going to be very entertaining football for a lot of people to see, and very worth watching. As we go through the season. So we can take any questions you got, and the rest of the football team. Tony, what you got, big man?
For so long, you guys have been picked at the bottom in preseason polls. What's the feeling like to be one of the favorites? Is it different? How do you guys go about your business in light of that? Just what are the overall thoughts on that?
Well, for me, first of all, it is a credit to these kids that work their tails off. And it matters because it comes from the peers, especially the coaches poll, in my opinion. It makes a difference, and it should catapult them into the season, and it shows some respect, and that's a lot of us work to gain respect as teams and as a group of young men. It's important to them. So it does not put rings on your fingers. It doesn't give you a championship, and it doesn't get you to a bowl game or a bowl game championship. But what it does do is it shows that people respect you, and that's important. So,
yeah, it just feels great to get the respect, like you said, going on from the coaches, from our peers in the WAC conference, and it just shows how hard we work to get where we are and where we came from the past 2 years, and it just feels great, and just like you said, catapults us to the season, and it's not going to stop the grind that we've been going through this past year, coming off a bowl game. We didn't win, but that's our goal now, is to get to a better bowl game and just have a winning season.
I think it's great for our team, but what Coach A said, it's not going to get you no rings or any wins from the win column. But preseason, I really don't think it means much to me. But for the season, I think it's great for us as a team.
Coach Andersen, Teddy Feinberg, Los Cruces Sun News. You obviously lost some special players from a year ago when you consider Turbin, Michael Smith, and also Bobby Wagner, but you return a good deal of talent as well. When I think of Matt and Kerwin Williams, Chucky Keaton, I'm obviously talking on the offensive side of the football, but if you can talk about the offensive weapons you have this year.
Well, I would say this. They don't get talked about a lot, but I feel very good about our first 5 offensive linemen, and it all starts with Tyler as our center. He's done a tremendous job, but we need to stay healthy there. We need to have some young guys step up, break into the outside. And I think there's the tight end position is very gifted with DJ and Kellen. Done a nice job of developing themselves. Excited about watching them have a bigger role in the offense, and I think that Keegan and Brad Tyre can also be in the middle of that. With last year, we got to 4 tight ends on the field at times. So the up front, those front 6 kids counting the tight end, or 7 if you got 2 tight ends in the game. I feel good about that crew initially. The youth has got to step up. we have playmakers on the outside. Wide receiver, it starts with Matt. There's no question. He's done it. He's a proven player, tremendous leader, tremendous mentor for the young kids in the program. He's already graduated, so off the field he's looked up to by many young men, but on the field what he does backs it all up, and he makes plays when he needs to. So Kerwin needs some help. Kerwin is a great player, and he's going to give you everything he's got, but I have my question marks, and there's some talent at the running back position, but nobody came out of spring ball and jumped out at me and said, that's the second back. I don't see it yet. We need to see it in spring. Coming out of spring, we didn't see it. We need to see it in fall practice. And for us to be a good football team, we need 3 backs, and we lost 2 tremendous backs, obviously. And quarterback position, we have 2 proven quarterbacks. Done a nice job, and they both won games, so I feel good about that. So we've got some real positives. Chuck Jacobs at the wide receiver position. We've got some junior college wide receivers who, I don't name names of junior college players until they deserve to have their names named, other than signing a piece of paper. They haven't done anything yet. They haven't caught a ball, so we'll talk about them if they make a play. So I'd rather talk about him right now. So
First-year coordinator, does anything change there on the offensive side of the ball?
I think that you change every year offensively and defensively, but the core of the offense, no, it'll be the same. We want to be physical up front. We want to be able to run the power play when people think we're going to run the power play and still run it with success on third down situations or 1st and 10. We want to be a physical running team. The changes will be this. We want to highlight our play action more with the quality tight ends we have and with the double move wide receivers I think we have. We want to be able to get that done, and we want to consistently throw the football. I thought at times last year we threw the ball well in games, and other times we kind of just handed it off all the time. And we need to use the guys we have and use our weapons effectively week in and week out.
And I understand after going to a bowl game last year, you got a tattoo.
That's a true statement. Yeah.
Where is it about?
Where's my tattoo? I'd have to stand up to show you. Just kidding. That's a joke. No, I got it on my left shoulder. So I had it by. It was a promise to these fine young lads, and I got it for them. So it's there, but only they've seen it, so they can verify it. But I'm not going to show it to anybody. Trust me.
Bojay, with the likes of Bobby gone and Kyle gone, how much added pressure is there you to step up in the linebacker position and make plays for the Aggies? And who else do you expect will step up on the defensive side of the ball and kind of take the reins there?
Bobby and Kyle, will be missed. That's a big gap in our defense from last year. But, every year comes a new challenge and a new identity. And I think with Tavares and Jake Dowdy, I think those two can fill that spot great. And then as me as well, I could just help out our defense, try to get to another bowl game, have a winning season as well as last year.
Coach, I know it's a good thing to have 2 solid quarterbacks you can rely on. Do you have a time frame where you're going to make the decision? You're going to be kind of like the Auburn game of last year where the starter just comes out of the huddle?
Yeah, we'll try to make it as big a circus as possible, so we'll hold it off as long as we can. I would say this. There's room for both those young men in our program without a doubt. They know that. They understand that. As far as the timing on naming a starter, I feel zero pressure to do that. It's not high on my agenda right now, nor is it high on Chucky's or Adam's agenda, nor are these kids' agenda. It's not an issue. It's not a controversy. It's a competition, just like every position. I mean, these 2 guys are walking into competition here in another 6 days, and they're excited about it. And those 2 young men had gone head-to-head a year ago. They'll go head-to-head again. They went head-to-head in spring. But once we got into the season last year, they never went head-to-head. After we got out of camp, it was Chucky's show. Chucky got hurt. It was Adam's show. And through spring ball, they competed well against each other. But spring is different than fall. So, we'll let the chips fall as they may, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's way up in the air. There'll be 4 of those kids walk in. Actually, there'll be 5 of them at the end of the day, counting obviously Chucky and Adam, and the 3rd and the 4th guy will probably get on the airplane, and the 5th guy will be very important to us in running the scout team. So we'll see how that all filters out also. Yes, sir. Need the mic? Oh, I'm sorry.
Coach, just talking about the quarterbacks, is there any scenario that you would play two, or are you definitely going to name one as the starter?
We've talked about a couple things. There is a spot for both of them. Do we have to change the offense for one or the other? No, and that is a positive for us. So that's out there. Some people say it never works. Some people say it works great. The two quarterback system, it's going to do one or the other. It's going to work or it's not going to work if you do it, and you're going to be, yeah, it worked or it didn't. So I get that. We also have another very talented young man that's walking in here that's going to be a wide receiver / punt returner / free safety / corner, who we may build a package like we did last year for Stanley and use him at times. So, our goal just to be to get the best guys on the field. But I will say it again, I think there's a spot for both of those quarterbacks to play for us.
Coach, Scott Bilo, PowerRatedSports.com. Looking at your schedule beyond 2015, do you know, I know that you're the coach and may or may not have a lot to say about scheduling going forward, but what's the talk with Utah and BYU as far as scheduling them long-term out from here? Yeah.
Well, Mr. Barnes, our athletic director, does a great job of allowing me to be highly, highly involved in the scheduling process. And that's clouded. It's up in the air. There's a lot of wait and see, and it seems to kind of change frequently as I watch the news. And I think there's a lot of people out there that know what that situation is going to be, but I don't think we all know. So we would love to play both of them as much as possible, to speak real frankly about it, but we would like to play back and back. We'd like to play at home and away, game for game, not 2-for-1s. I think we're an established enough program where we don't have to go play 2-for-1s consistently, and should not have to do that. And I know that's the mindset of our athletic director and our president and everybody that's involved. So, but we do want to play the in-state rivalries, but we would like to play them 1-for-1.
Yeah, Brandon Green from the Desert News. Last year, a breakthrough year, but it was very close to being an absolutely phenomenal year for you guys. You think of games with Auburn, BYU, Ohio. You guys probably don't like to think about those too much. But how do you use those games just going into this year? Do you use it as just motivation for how good you can be, and what do you change to pull out those games?
Okay, I'll let these guys answer it, and then I'll answer that one too. Go ahead, man.
Again, it just goes with finishing. That's our focus. That's what our focus is past summer, is just finishing and getting in shape and stuff like that. Like, we know we lost it ourselves, and there's a lot of close games, and it hurts. But that was the past, and now it's, what I'm saying, we're living in the present, and we're ready. And I feel like now that we know what kind of team we can be, that we're going to finish this year.
Yeah, same. We have an identity, I think, now that we know who we are. And, looking back at Auburn and seeing how good we are and competing against the defending national champs just tells you how good we can be. And all we have to do is finish now. And I think after that last season, I think we can finish every game.
The thing I would say is that, we were sitting at 2-5, and it wasn't looking real good at 28-7 at Hawaii either at halftime. And the toughness of the kids to be able to rally back and fight was impressive. It was. I can't really put words to it as gratifying as it was for a head football coach to be able to sit back for me and be able to watch that happen and watch these kids grow and mature and develop. It was very, very tough first part of the year. It was a very tough 5-game win streak. It seemed like this guy was catching balls in the last second, or we were knocking out a ball to get a fumble against Nevada to find a way to win the game. But you got to go through that. You got to learn how to win football games, and you got to expect to win football games. That's part of the maturity process. But I do know this: if we continually sit on that ledge, you're going to have a hard time becoming a consistent winner. We've got to find a way to win some games consistently and play well for 4 quarters. But as soon as I say that, again, I state it, the quality opponent that we play in this league is way, way, way underrated in the national spotlight. And you can just go watch how the WAC teams play against other teams when they go head-to-head and out of conference. And they're physical with anybody in the country. They'll bang around. They'll run with anybody in the country. And do we win them all? No, we don't. I'm not here saying that. But the brand of football that the WAC puts on the field every Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night is pretty special, and it's a great challenge for us as a staff and as a group of football players and the team every single week.
Coach, between now and August 30th, when you start with Southern Utah, if there's one or two things that you can identify where you have to make the most improvement, what would that be?
If I start on the defensive side, without question, the defensive line. You know, there's talent there, there's players there, but when you're in the trenches, the ability to play at the level of toughness, the level of aggression, and the level of consistency with technique that you have to play snap in and snap out to be a quality football team has not been there. But I believe the talent is there. So that would be number one on the defensive side of the football. The youth contributing on the defensive side of the football would be secondary. On the offensive side of the ball, it would be finding a backup for Kerwin Williams. Without question, that has to take place. And I would also say developing the youth of the offense would be number two. We're a young football team. We have 16 seniors that are on scholarship in the football program, and we'll be operating at right at either 84 or 85 scholarships for the year, so you can see how youthful we are. And with youth comes challenge, but also with youth comes a lot of expectations at this point in camp. So how we handle it as a staff, how these guys handle it as leaders with the youth, and how the youth handles themselves will be important to our success this year.
Any other questions? All right, thanks.
Okay, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.